folks. Miguel Adorati back here on the MMA Museum podcast, and we are into another one of our awesome classic fight review segments. And I'm joined by my buddy Kirk Spitz. Kirk, we're going to watch a classic. We're going to go back to October of 1996. We've already seen a fight from this show. Me and you watched Vitor Belfort's debut against John Hess. That occurred on this same show. Today we are going to watch the tournament final in the lightweight division. There was a four-man tournament, and both of the men we were watching will have won a fight earlier today. We're going to watch Maurice Corty taking on J.R. Palmer. And, folks, I'm going to tell you, this is NHB. This is not MMA. This is full-out, no-holds-barred that we're going to watch here. And there's a reason I tell you that. And J.R. Palmer was a bad, bad man. Kirk, what do you think?
I don't know. J.R. Palmer came out the box of his career. He had a lot of wins under his belt. And then he went into this fight, which I guess was a tournament, got past Corte, and then won it.
Yeah, he won. No, this is the final. He got past Corty in the final, and he had won a fight beforehand. He beat Brian Gassaway, who was a Indiana fighter. And Brian Gassaway was no joke. Brian Gassaway was a serious business, serious fighter. Wound up with 50 fights on his career. Unfortunately, Brian is no longer with us. So rest in peace to Brian Gassaway in the mention. He lost to J.R. Palmer, which to me speaks volumes. If J.R. could beat, even though he's the hometown guy and stuff, if he could beat Brian Gassaway, you know he had some serious skills. Cordy beat another Hawaiian fighter in the opening round. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy, submission specialist. And we're going to take a look at this final fight.
So Palmer is representing Hawaii, right?
Yeah, that's one of your favorites.
Yes. So he's representing Hawaii, which I love. And then, so after he came out of the box and he did this tournament, he kind of went on like a little bit of a losing streak. And I think one of his losses was against Kurt Pellegrino.
J.R. Palmer fought Kurt Pellegrino?
I'm pretty sure.
I'll have to look that up. I'm not sure about that. I don't know how long.
Wasn't Kurt Pellegrino one of your fighters?
Yeah, Kurt Pellegrino fought, but I think they may be different generations. Let's hear. Hold on. Let's see what I got here. I'm not familiar with how J.R. Palmer finished his career. And let's see. He did fight Kurt Pellegrino on Rumble Ring of Combat in 2004. So, yeah, you're doing your homework. He ended his fight on a 3-fight losing streak. Pellegrino, they kind of
So where was Pellegrino? So Pellegrino fought for you. Where was he on your ladder of how good was Pellegrino?
Oh, Pellegrino was a good fighter. Pellegrino wound up in the UFC. You know what I mean? And J.R. Palmer fought a couple of guys that were UFC level guys. He also fought Ivan Menjivar. Now I'm looking at his career. He kept on fighting for a long time afterwards. I didn't realize. I thought we mentioned when we were preparing for he got knocked out in Hawaii by Danny Bennett in Super Bowl III, and then he rematched him in Super Bowl IV and got knocked out again. I wasn't that familiar with what he fought afterwards, but he fought a lot of tough guys. Jataro Nakao, Japanese stud, Stephen Pauling, another boxer from the island that we just watched here on MMA Classic Fights. There's some good guys on his resume. John Alessio, I believe John Alessio fought Pat Miletich for the UFC title at one point. And you mentioned Kurt Pellegrino. There were other names on there that definitely jump out at you. So my hats off to J.R. Palmer.
He had a big career. I mean, he was 18 fights. And 21.
Yeah, and that happens at times. You know, guys start to take fights for the money, and you know you're not quite prepared. I'm not sure he ever, actually, buckled down and learned jiu-jitsu and learned groundwork. And as MMA progressed, not having a lot of groundwork becomes a very big, liability for you, just going in there, as you can see, with guys like even James Toney, the best boxers in the world, had trouble in MMA and stuff.
Right.
So that may have been his bugaboo, but early on he was a killer. And if you look at his record, this is Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, he came out. He won his
huge win streak. Yeah. He won like
11 in a row.
He had 11 or 12 fight win streak at the beginning of his career. I believe this is the last fight of that win streak against Maurice Corty that we're going to see. but yeah, he was the real deal. He was a guy that when he came out, Super Brawl had Super Brawl 1. This is Super Brawl 2. Before the Super Brawl shows, they did a bunch of shows under the name Future Brawl. And
Okay.
he was a star on the Future Brawl shows where he fought a lot of the guys. At that point, it was more local competition, so he was fighting other islanders and stuff, and he was doing really well. And those guys all know how to box down there in Hawaii. They have Todd Atkins told me he lived in Hawaii, and he mentioned to me that they have a very robust system of police athletic league boxing gyms where you can learn to box and stuff for free, kids, and a lot of them take it up there. A lot of the poor kids go there. So J.R. Palmer, that's what we're going to watch here. Let's go ahead and do the 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, and we'll hit play. And the show starts off here with you got to kill the volume. We got the volume killed. You got Maurice Corty walking in the ring. Not much information on him other than a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specialist. I looked it up, and he does come up as a black belt. It's possible
1-3.
Yeah, his MMA record's not impressive in terms of what we see here. And to be honest with you, he looks like he may have been an older guy for this time.
I think that when we talk about falsifying documents on birthdays, he probably did.
It's possible. Now, what I can tell you about him,
young at all. He fought under Helson Gracie.
Yeah, and he's so, a
Gracie. They must have seen something in him for him to fight under Gracie. But looking at him, looks like the wind would blow him over.
Well, as long as we're looking at the same people on the internet, because all I can really do is internet research. I haven't had a chance to make phone calls about him and that sort of thing. But Mauricio Corty actually was known as a good instructor. He probably popped up in Hawaii to be a jiu-jitsu instructor, and took a couple of fights. They put him in with tough guys. So he came into this tournament. His other losses are also to big names. I'll look those up here.
Looks like he could beat both of them.
And in the future, he wound up in Ireland and England teaching jiu-jitsu. And he was there, obviously, before Roger Gracie and some of those guys. But Shudo put him in against Rumina Sato in a fight, too. And he got armbarred by Rumina. But, Rumina's a superior athlete. And I think that's Mauricio's bugaboo, too. He's older. And, I think J.R. Palmer is going to show you here that he's he's got more physical talents. That's T.J. Thompson on the ring announcing there. That's Motor as well.
You know that the fight's not shown on the screen, right?
Yeah, no, I've got the fight up, or don't you?
Yeah, but not on our shared screen.
Yeah, no, it's not. I'll get it on there later in the editing. But we got T.J. Thompson is the ring announcer announcing the. You may be a little bit ahead of me there, but T.J. Thompson is the guy with the long hair there, and he's got the microphone doing the ring announcing. He's also the promoter, man of many hats, and he's the brains behind the Super Brawl shows. Behind him, the muscular guy with the tank top is the ref, and we're getting the Super Brawl treatment by the. Yeah, he's also not known for stopping fights. And this may be what he liked to watch.
Angry.
Yeah, JR was a guy who definitely had the sight game going. And this is at the Blaisdell Arena, as we talked about with the John Hess Vitor fight, which is a big arena.
Dude, Cortez got an old man's body, a good shape old man's body.
Yeah, he's in trouble.
Targets in terms on his face on where you should hit him.
Yeah, he's in trouble in terms of athleticism and what this looks like on paper. Although at this point, you got to remember, 1996, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and the reputation of the submission fighters are, at this point, JR was, this was up in the air in the eyes of most people who was going to win. We hadn't seen much of Corty. We saw him win a fight earlier in the day. So we were about to find out about J.R. Palmer, and this would definitely have been considered a test for him because fighting a lot of guys from the Hawaiian Islands, there wasn't a huge jiu-jitsu culture there yet. BJ Penn came later. Now we have Max Holloway there. Uh,
Mm.
Todd Atkins mentioned Max Holloway still boxes at some of those police athletic league gyms for his practice. And,
Hawaii's on the map, dude.
yeah, JR but I'll be honest with you, JR was the first superstar from Hawaii. And we're about to watch him perform here. You can see Corty trying that cautious Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu approach. Doesn't look like he's totally comfortable standing. And Palmer not playing the game of rushing in or anything like that, being patient and doing some feints and stuff. And you can see Corty is flat-footed, and Palmer at least knows he's up on the ball of his feet and moving around, giving him some different angles. They haven't thrown a punch yet, but it's going to explode here in a minute. This
It's
is
a very interesting stance that he has. It looks like something from like the 1900s. I just don't have a lot of faith in him. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I think in retrospect he didn't fight much. Yeah, he wanted to get it to. He got out athleticism on his rush in there. And Palmer goes for the choke on the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy. Almost gets it. If he had gotten his hand
went
behind
limp
the
on those punches. I don't know why it wasn't stopped then. When Fedor went limp on punches like that, they stopped it.
Yeah, no, this ref does not stop fights. Yeah,
Palmer
Palmer
tried to stomp the feet. That's beautiful. I mean, the
yeah.
hand.
Palmer had the choke. If he had put his hand into the crook of his elbow, he may have had the choke there at the very beginning and choked out the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy. But he's tossing him around here. And
yeah, see, this is what I expected.
He's he's not getting the jiu-jitsu going.
I see what you said about the ref. A little hesitant there.
The ref is like,
hey, I got the best once.
Yeah, the ref has got the best seat in the house. And now here's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy mounted by Palmer, and Palmer grapevine the legs, and he's putting a lot into the punches and stuff. And you gotta give.
Oh no!
Now he's coming around throwing knees, and Corty eating these. A lot of these strikes, the knee strikes and things are illegal in the UFC now. There's a headbutt.
All right, he's dead.
Yeah, he just killed
him. Foot stomps. Stoppage by foot stomps. When did they get rid of foot stomps?
Yeah, shortly after this.
I hope so.
You could see he takes the first one and he's still trying to move, and at some point his body he's immobile. He's definitely unconscious from the foot stomps. Palmer seemed to be in a position to throw them a little bit earlier in the fight and didn't take advantage of them. And then when he saw them there again this time around, but Palmer was just completely relentless. And like I said, you'll never see that type of ending in MMA nowadays because those strikes are illegal. But
I think that fight would have been stopped before that, because when he first did the shoot, put him in the corner, and he caught that and started hitting him while he was down, you could see him go limp for a minute. Like there, I don't know. That's what I saw. And then obviously the foot stomps,
Yep, no, for sure. And the ref
on the replay, he shoots in.
There might as well not have been a ref
right there. He's limp right there on the replay. And then he gets into I don't know how he got out of that. I got to give him props for getting out of some of this stuff.
Yeah, no, he was trying to get to a better position the whole time, but he was fighting a better athlete, and the guy who's probably stronger than him, and facing relentless strikes. Those are just relentless strikes, and there's the finish again. And again, when he lets his hand go, and his hand, Shaquille O'Neal in the audience.
Yeah, he enjoyed it.
That was another one of those.
When you did the fight with Todd, where you guys were watching Pauling, Pauling broke his orbital bone. That's what those foot stomps are going to do. He's going to be shitting brain fragments. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a very dangerous way to finish a fight, and that's why they did rule it out. You got to give credit. JR used the entire arsenal here. It was legal back then, and
yes, the entire
to be,
arsenal.
To his credit, he had thrown headbutts, he had thrown knees, he had thrown punches, and Corty was still kind of fighting for position, trying to get up, trying to get
he was moving,
back to a better position. So he hit him until he wasn't moving. And that's what we wanted to show. Is I did want to unleash another one of those old school MMA is not like this kind of fight, and I think that this one sums that up pretty clearly. This is what NHB looked like in the very early days, and there you see a finish that you just will not see in UFC today.
Were there foot
I,
stomps in MFC?
no, no, not like that.
So
Later
was
on,
that
foot
but
stomp.
was it a rule in place?
Yeah, yeah. You can't kick a down opponent.
Okay.
I think that's the rule that would right away eliminate that kind of strike. Um,
So how do you
the
feel about foot stomps?
Well, foot stomps have their place. We saw him later with Marco Ruas, where he would actually have a guy up against the fence and he would use foot stomps to stomp on the other guy's foot, which
Right.
is very painful and could mess your feet up and
Oh, you
definitely
got tiny bones in there.
turn the tide of a fight. Um, in this particular case, Cordy wasn't in the best defensive position, but he was trying to defend himself until the foot stomps started to rain down. And I think, the idea is you can't allow yourself to be in that position, and the fighter has to be aware of the foot stomps. I've talked to Jeremy Horn about it, and the fact is if you're protected by the rules, you can actually take advantage of positions. You could see, like, we've also seen the face kick from Henzo, and
Right.
we saw the face kick that also Murillo Bustamante used on Bolander. That's illegal now, but the fighter
Mm-hmm.
knows how to prevent that because he can put his knee on the floor and make it illegal for the other fighter to do.
Right.
You know, so in this
So
case, you
are
don't
there
have a position that's like a safe position. So you've got to keep fighting and keep proving, the worth of your defense. And in this case, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu was not enough for Mauricio Corty. The athleticism on J.R. Palmer's part definitely took the day for
okay,
sure.
well, you being a matchmaker and looking out for the well-being of the fighters, if you watch a regular MMA, let's just say UFC fight right now, are there any rules that you think or is there anything that they can do that you think should be illegal? Is there any current moves that can be done that you deem illegal or that you think should be illegal?
um, Look, the guys in the contract, it signs that they know that they're actually taking their life into their own hands at some point in the contract. Those
Right.
words actually say something in there, and it is an extreme sport. So no, I don't think so. I think the UFC could do more, and I think they are actually changing the gloves because I think the worst thing that you see in UFC now is the eye poking, where
Mm-hmm.
fighters keep their fingers open and they poke people in the eye. I think that's very dangerous. It is illegal, but they do it and claim innocence, And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not so sure that that's not something that's semi innocent, that they're not you know doing it on purpose, semi on purpose there, So
So
but the
so
rules I
besides
think are very safe. To the point is I would almost rather the kicks to the ground and things like I'm okay with headbutts. I'm okay. I remember when I saw that knockout, the J.R. Palmer on Cordy knockout for the first time. I found it shocking. I was like, whoa, I was blown away. I hadn't seen anything like that before, and it was something that you got to look at. It's like I don't ever want to be on the receiving end of something like that.
no,
Um,
no.
so I guess I'm okay with knockouts that extreme being limited and banned. But I do think that there is something to be said for the purity of the fight. And the fact is in this particular case, the referee may have been letting it go a little long. The defense wasn't working for Cordy. He was taking a lot of shots. And, after just taking shots, even, like this, fighters get fight stopped in the
Mm-hmm.
UFC, even with their hands up, because they're taking a lot of shots. So that fight could have been stopped earlier and avoided that. Um, and I'm okay. I'm okay with less rules than the UFC has now, as long as the fighters are of a competent and well matched. And this may have been a matchmaker's mismatch here.
But this was the end of the tournament, right? So Mauricio had already gotten past somebody.
Yeah, he won a fight. He won by submission. He done his jujitsu
Yeah.
thing. And again, he was a black belt, so he had a lot of time on the mat and things like that. And to his credit, he came back and fought again after this. So what can you say? He was a pro. He showed up, and then according to the internet research that we could do, He popped up in England, where a lot of the England's earliest jiu-jitsu practitioners were practicing with him, and they talk about him being a guy who, you know, you get on a mat with him and he would submit you over and over again. So
right.
J.R. Palmer negated him. I think you pointed it out from the beginning, and it's been a constant theme here as we wrap up. It's just sometimes if you face a better athlete, there really is nothing you can do.
And it also looked like there was an age difference. Like
yeah,
speed and the way the way Maurice Corty fell. He fell like an older guy falling. He didn't fall like, you know what I'm saying?
He didn't are you saying he almost said like falling and I can't get up?
Yeah, you know, I mean, we might have to get him one of those chains that he can hit the button.
Yeah, and, you know.
I mean, I have respect for him. He was, you know, he was tutored under Gracie, and I'm sure he was a great instructor. But this to me it was a little rough. I kind of think what you're thinking with maybe it was a little bit off on the matchmaker, because in all honesty, Corte could have gotten really hurt.
And NHB in these days had that element of being a little bit hit and miss. You know, here you had a black belt that says I'm a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. We've all seen Hoist beating bigger guys, you know, taking punishment things. The black belts that we had seen in MMA and NHB fighting at that point were the cream of the crop guys. So, you know, Cordy didn't rise to that level. And, you know, that's about all that could be said to it. Again, he's an instructor. Hopefully he's still out there and doing well. And, you know,
and
like you said,
now?
Palmer's probably still living in Hawaii somewhere. I'm trying to track down some of the Hawaiian guys for long interviews as well. And he's definitely on the list. Definitely an interesting guy. And that winning streak in the early days had him world ranked. You know,
yeah, that was an impressive start
for sure. So, all right, folks, this is the MMA Classic Fight Review. We want to show a little bit of NHB and a finish that you just won't see anymore, and that's what we have here. I want to thank my buddy Kirk for coming along for the ride, and it's been another fun one. Thanks to everybody for watching.
All right.